Boys and girls, we are live on YouTube. Oh, I just got this
I got
music.
Me Too.
Me, me, wow. What,
Me,
you porn? You
no, Meat Tube. Yeah, Me Tube.
You got tube meat? What?
That too.
Hey, we're not allowed to get the adult sites in North Carolina and some places in the South because of the new rules and regulations. So she's please care, but don't. I'm so saddened by this. No, I'm only kidding. I'm not. But okay. Yeah. That's how we
Like
start the
you live
show,
in a part
folks.
you live in a part of the country where they're trying to make America 1950 again.
I mean, I, I I
Isn't
guess,
that what you call
yeah.
making America great? Just kidding. I'm so kidding.
No, that is what they mean.
Um, Wait, I just noticed this. Well, first off, hello to everyone. It's the Middle Age Guy Show. We're on YouTube Live because good old FB is a pain in the FB, and you know, no one doesn't like us anymore. So we're headed back over here to YouTube for a moment. But anywho,
FB can go get effed in the B.
Ooh.
you got that right. So let me just
And
share
I
We're
keep
watching
using
some
it like a
NC
fucking
State
idiot.
versus North Carolina, the battles of North Carolinas. Red versus blue.
Speaking of red
uh
versus blue, Rooster Teeth got shut down.
What got shut down?
Rooster Teeth, the company that produced the series made with Halo, Red versus Blue.
Oh,
I hadn't really watched their stuff over the last several years, but it sounds like this was a long time coming because it sounds like they had a bunch of scandals over the last several years with company personnel and shit like that. Not the people who like originally founded the company and did the original videos and shit, but people who I guess were in positions of power. So it was like some of it was pretty
uh,
goddamn disturbing too.
all
what
right. I
is
got
Oh,
it.
this
this
is good.
emoji
Carolina
here?
player's down on the ground acting like he got I don't know what he
Nothing even
acting
happened
like
barely.
he's I don't know what happened to him. He went
It's
down
like
like
he
a
bumped
heap,
into the
so
guy's arm, but that's as good as I could see it. Like there's no blood, there's no nothing. When the trainer gets so close that he can smell the guy's breath on the floor, that's my clear indication that there's actually nothing wrong. They're like, okay, milk it for a little bit more. We're going to pretend that you're really hurt. Maybe we can
I
draw a
don't know. It was
flagrant
really
foul.
that was hard to tell what exactly happened, other than maybe he got hit in the face a little.
You know what else gets hit in the face a little?
Who?
Never mind.
Oh, the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight because they blew this game against the Hurricanes, and now it's in a shootout.
Oh, really did, is it?
So
Need the
right before we
Hurricanes to
came on,
lose.
folks, we were talking about floppers in the NBA, and uh, you know, I said LeBron might be the biggest flopper. They should call him King Flop. But then Darth Pat said no, Shane Battier might be the worst, and
Well,
Shane Battier
actually,
definitely.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, now that we've been saying the word flop here again a lot, I've been reminded, of course, of who the biggest flopper of all time is.
Who's that?
Flop dollar.
uh, oh God, yeah, flop
I don't
dollar.
care. I don't care what that guy says. He will never live that down. And also, note to you, pal. You're not any good in the wrestling ring.
Who flop dollar?
Yeah. So stop trying to pretend like you have talent because you don't. You have about as much talent in the ring as I do.
He went on. He should go on America's Got Talent and get voted off.
I don't know if they consider
Yes.
that a talent on America's Got Talent. I also don't care.
Yeah, no, it's just funny. Like I've been seeing a lot of compilations between of LeBron's. I got hit so hard. I may not be able to ever see again, or I might have a broken ankle, or a concussion, or the his acting skills on display. People say give him a Grammy for his acting.
I I
But
mean, yeah, he acts like a soccer player, European soccer player. Sorry, guys. I mean, I like European soccer, or football, I should say. My bad. European football. And I'll get
I
yelled at
wouldn't
for it.
apologize. Those guys are the biggest pussies in the world.
They're so over dramatic when I watch those games when they get tripped or whatever. It's just insane.
yeah,
Crazy and insane.
and
Women, I've said it before, and again, women's players are tougher than men's soccer players.
yeah, you don't see them. I mean, they do. Not going to say that they don't sell, but I feel like they sell when they actually get tripped and stuff like that. Like when they legit get tripped, not like the guy slides in front and the guy jumps over and then acts like he got tripped. Those are like that's what I see a
Yeah.
lot in men's soccer. Is the guy slides and hits the ball and the guy jumps over. Oh, that wasn't even that bad. So he hit his shoulder. His face hit his shoulder. Like it wasn't even NC State's guy's fault. North Carolina guy doesn't know how to get his head out of the way of a body. But
Anyway,
anyways, um, so yeah,
you were
it's
saying,
it's it's that kind of antics. Like if you get tripped, okay, fine, I get it. Sell it, see if you can get a red card, a yellow card, whatever. But it's when you jump over and you're like, oh my god, my ankle. Like no, nothing happened to you. And then, unfortunately, there's no repercussions in European soccer, European football, as far as I know, for faking a injury. They just continue play. They just keep
No,
going, and you just lay on the ground.
there's nothing for that, dude.
But they
Nada.
well,
really, in the NBA, they really need to really crack down on the flopping because they just it's too much anymore. Like, and it's not it's flopping from the fouls. Like guys are barely getting touched. Sometimes they are getting hit legitimately. Um, but there's too many times guys jump in the air, nobody touches him, and they're just like, "Ah!" and their arms flail about and they fall on the ground. And I think more guys get hurt in the NBA from falling on the ground when nobody hits them than they do from actually getting fouled and possibly falling to the ground.
I concur.
So,
well, it reminds me of something George Carlin said in a routine many years ago. He was
Yes.
speaking specifically about football, but he said he thinks that they should leave the injured players on the field because they're always talking about what a big war it is out there.
Oh my
So,
God.
a guy gets hurt, I say make him crawl off to the sideline on his own. You can't substitute for him until he makes it.
That
I
is
think that would be
interesting.
entertaining.
Uh, yeah, yeah, probably would be. That would be quite interesting to see something of that effect happen. Yes, yes, absolutely. So it has been a minute since the three of us jabroni ass mofos have been on together.
it
Yeah,
has been a
because of
while.
excuses coming from the screen.
Listen,
Well,
Only one of which was legitimate.
yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. Having family is important. Important to me.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I summoned that car accident to happen on purpose.
Hey, that was the acceptable excuse, I said.
No, I know. I'm only kidding. Um, yes, yes, been a minute. But as I was telling Jeremy before we got on, I have a widget on my phone for my flight up to the Northeast for WrestleMania weekend, brother. And I think it says 20 days. So my flight leaves in 20 days.
I'm just hoping for good weather. I'm hoping for like 60-degree weather at, you know, midnight. That would be nice.
I have a fun story to tell you now about WrestleMania weekend, but it's not for podcast consumption.
It's not. Is it rated XX?
N
XXX?
no, it's just not something that needs to be said on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Understand. Yeah, and my my juice is flowing for my anticipation. But now you kind of just went from a boiling hot water to a small simmer. Thanks. I was ready to explode with excitement.
That was a terrible shot by North Carolina.
Your nipples were going to explode with delight. What?
Yep.
That was a better look, but not a good shooter.
58-53. Is that what you guys have?
Yep.
9:40 something left.
Number 10 playing number 1 in the ACC
Here,
championship.
here's the thing. I don't know that I'm going to be very tore up if Carolina does not win this game.
I think they have the number one seed nonetheless, so it doesn't make a difference at this point.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
if you're
not so much
worried
that.
about that, but
No, not so much. It's for this. The last four times North Carolina won the NCAA tournament was 1993, 2005, 2009, and 2017. In all four of those years, they did not win the ACC tournament before the NCAA tournament, and only in 1993 did they even make the final of the ACC tournament. So, just going off that utterly meaningless trend, I'm all like, yeah, no, you don't win the ACC tournament, no biggie. There's a bigger one to win afterwards.
Yeah, the ACC tournament's good as it good to win if you know your chances of winning the national championship are slim. I mean, we know it's hard to win the national championship in basketball because it's a one and done tournament, but like some teams, have a better chance of winning based on, players that they have and how their season's been going and possible matchups they have. And oh my God, he just drained that.
oh yeah. So in the
I mean, because
meantime,
you guys are ahead of me.
as you were watching basketball, sorry guys if we're like boring everybody and me. I'm just trying to get stuff situated with our YouTube and Facebook stuff, and nothing
Yeah.
seems to want to work these days, and everything is all out of whack. But like I was saying, it's been a while since the three of us jabronis have been on. So how's everyone doing? Well, what's going on? I mean,
Yeah.
Pat has life's a bitch. Death might be preferable. Death is not preferable. Nope. Unacceptable. We'll get to you in a minute, young
I've
sir.
not, I've not had a, I've not had an enjoyable week and day, so
Yes.
I'm not in
Death
the
Pat has been
charitable
telling us
mood.
about his pain. He came to
Yeah,
bring the
now I got
pain.
it. Yeah, so now I got the financial pain today. So
Ooh.
Ooh.
fucking car again.
Oh.
uh,
What happened to your car now?
do tell. Car
Oh, I
issues.
took it in for an oil. I took it in for an oil change, and of course they said, "Oh, the air filters need to be changed. Oh, the brake fluid's got to be flushed. Oh, the it's leaking oil." And I'm like,
Fantastic.
"I had this thing inspected 3 months ago. Oh, you need new tires soon too," which actually wasn't a big surprise because I had honestly thought I'd have to get new tires when I got it inspected, um, but no. And then it's like, used it for a couple of days now because you were down at court, and I'm like, I checked the oil in this thing like 3 weeks ago, maybe, and it was fine. So. They're like, well, there's a lot of saturation, and we want to set up for when you can bring it back in this week. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal, but guys, I'm a tax accountant. This isn't exactly an easy time for me to bring the car in. I mean, I
Mhm.
basically skipped on work today, skipped in the sense of going to the office. I was working from home then, but I also had to arrange, getting, back from the garage and then back to the garage to pick up the car, which is a pain in the ass. My sister is very much annoying with trying to uh arrange for shit like this because she always has a fucking excuse. Um, so the guy's like, well, maybe we can get you like a loan or something. So maybe like just use it this week and we'll call you back next week. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, great. And I'm just like, yeah, exactly what I want to do is spend more money on this fucking car right now because of the money I've spent on it over the last like 18 months or so. But hey, I can't afford a new car right now. If I had to get a new car right now, I don't know what the fuck I would do. So, well, I know one thing I would have to do, but it's like affording a new car payment right now would not really be entirely feasible. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's never fun.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was
And
telling
then
Jeremy
and
earlier,
then of
like,
course, and then of course, after I got back in the garage, I'm like, well, because I've got stuff going on tomorrow and everything, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to the food store because I didn't like arrange a pickup order ahead of time. My internet connection is unstable, so this is the second time my computer is showing me this. I might have to go reboot my router. Um,
you look through
I
the
so I went to the food store and I was reminded of why I don't normally go to the food store because especially at the fucking shop right here in Bethlehem Township, Pennsylvania. The people who shop there are the most inconsiderate, aloof motherfuckers in the world. Nobody ever seems to notice that there are
Oh,
You
I'm
know
they
sorry. I'm
have
what?
standing
no
in the middle of the
sense
aisle with my cart. Did you
they
need to
have
get
no
past?
sense that they're not that they're getting in other people's way or that they're holding up. I wanted to get two fucking Kaiser rolls out of the the bakery section, okay, just two individual rolls because I don't need a six pack of rolls. I needed two rolls, and
Everybody wants a six pack.
there's people all in front of the bakery thing, where like the rolls and bagels and donuts are and everything, and they are literally blocking the way to get in and just taking their sweet ass time. And I swear to God, this one woman turned and looked at me standing there with a bag in my hand ready to go. And I swear to God that she gave me a look that said, fuck you, I will take as much time as I want to because I'm old.
Of course, I love that.
Which in some ways I respect the don't give a fuckness about it. But on the other hand, I was in a mood where I really said I don't give a shit if I snap on somebody. So yeah. So if during WrestleMania, if you see me not having a good time, it's going to be because people around me will have done something to infuriate me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say this: I still see a difference when I'm living in the South, right? And then when I was in Pennsylvania, the multiple times last year. And when I had to go to different stores and whatnot, you see the difference. You legitimately see the difference in the mannerism and the attitudes of people when you're going to a food store or a Target or a Walmart. It's just Walmart. Most Walmarts are ghetto. It could be in the richest place in the fucking world and it'd still be ghetto. With crazy ass rednecks and all kinds of shit there. But with that being said, it's you see the difference, and it's kind of like, yeah, when I had the opportunity to move down south, I'm glad I took it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, listen, there's crazy asses in North Carolina of different capacities, but it's not as much to deal with as it is if I was still living back up where you guys are. I will say that definitely so. You deal with some stuff with the food stores, but at the end of the day, it's not as bad as what Pat's describing. Because when I was up there over the summer, I had to go to that shop right as well to get some stuff, and it was like crowded. It felt like the aisles were smaller than they used to be. I don't know. It was crowded, and people just like get out of my way. Like I was here first. Like got a butt plug sucked up their butt or some shit like that, and they're just not in a good mood or whatever the case may be. It's like, damn, people, just have some consideration, which there's not a lot,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I guess I'm just a patient person when I'm around those type of things. I'm less patient with my kids and people close to me than I am with other people. Like I have the utmost patience for. Doesn't mean that I don't get frustrated with other people. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
would you just move your ass? But um, I have definitely have a lot more patience for
I,
those type of
I'm
people. But
I am as well. I have a lot of patience, and whatnot, but there are days where I go there and it's kind of like you can tell when people are in the mood, it's like, all right, here we go. Like I'm just trying to do my thing and everyone's like is up in a tizzy and whatnot. So, you know, it's what it is. I mean, times have changed, different areas of the country are different now. In regards to mannerism, respect, all that shit. So yeah, it's a bit getting used to, for the most part.
I am outwardly a very patient person. Inwardly, I am screaming that I will murder someone. Um, like another thing
He's
that
about to go
happens that
Friday.
If you don't move in a second, I'm gonna stab you in the eye with a fork.
He's about to go Friday the 13th on
well,
people.
yeah, well, another thing that I see happen all too often is elevator etiquette, which is
This
Mm.
commercial is
if
highly inappropriate.
if you were waiting to get on an elevator. I'm sorry, I was distracted by what sounded like the caravan of motorcycles that just went by my apartment window.
Oh.
Um, anyway,
Hell's Angels.
Where's the
um,
squirrel
Okay.
sound effect? Squirrel.
elevator etiquette. Um, if you are waiting to, if you've called for the elevator and obviously like the door doesn't open right away, so like that the elevator has to come to you. It is best to know to let the door open and see if anybody is in the elevator before you just go stampeding into it.
Of course.
So when I got home from the garage today, I was coming up on the elevator, and as the elevator was ascending, I could hear the button go off that somebody had called for it because you can tell that with this elevator here, and I definitely picked up on that after just about 3 years of living here. And I don't know how long the people who were getting into the elevator have lived here, if they lived here. I mean, they could have been visiting somebody. I really don't know. I can't recall having seen them before, but that doesn't mean much. I only recognize about 3 or 4 faces in this entire building. So,
You mean you don't know
uh,
everybody? You're not the apartment police? You don't
no,
belong here, sir.
no, definitely not. I really don't give a rat's ass because it's the kind of thing where it's like, you need to have a key or get buzzed in to get into the place. So, but
That's like I
yeah,
had no
so
patience for that shit.
yeah, but anyway, so like the elevator, so I'm like, the button was pressed again as I was already in the elevator and the elevator was coming up. So if this person lives here and they couldn't recognize that the sound of the elevator was already coming up when they pressed for the button, and that they didn't know that somebody was going to be on the elevator and blah blah blah. And she just comes walking right in, and then she's like, then she says, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like, and I just, "Oh yeah, no worries, no worries." And of course, in my head, I'm saying, "If I ever see you again, I'm taking your eyes as souvenirs."
I'm taking your
All right,
eyes as
Jeepers
souvenirs.
Creepers.
I mean, well, that's also from Red versus Blue. So I'm like, well, since I mentioned Red versus Blue, I thought I'd go back to that. But no, seriously, today was just not a day where I had any patience for people. And
Understandable.
I really get sick and tired of always being the nice and polite one when so many other people decide that they don't have to be. So I'm just fucking sick of people. I'm sick of people. I'm sick of this world. I'm sick of the people who live in it. Maybe that fucking asteroid should come and hit us one of these
No,
days. And
people keep talking about the asteroid on Facebook. They're putting it on in the politics posts.
wait. What asteroid? I was speaking metaphorically.
No, but what I'm saying is I've been seeing posts on Facebook about politics from both sides, and they're talking about all their crazy. And they're like, maybe the asteroid should just come and reset the whole Earth. No, shut the fuck up. I
Well,
don't want
okay,
this.
okay, well, okay, all right, okay, all right.
I know it's a different thing, but it's like you mentioned the asteroids and it just clicked in my head. Oh my God, I've
I'm
been
not
seeing all
okay.
these posts.
I'm not going to touch on the politics part of it because I definitely don't want to go down that road for any number of reasons right now.
No,
I mean, it's still nearly 8 fucking months until the goddamn election. So, but
And
okay,
it's only
the
getting
astro
worse.
yes, it will just get worse. Um, the asteroid should just come and hit us and reset the Earth.
yes.
Reset the Earth?
Yes. Yes. I swear to
Ah.
God, I saw it was like, let's reset the earth. Let the asteroid just come. And I'm like,
It's
Okay,
funny. When they say that, do
that's
they
not what
realize
a
that
no.
means
reset is.
no? Do they realize that by resetting the Earth, that means wiping out all life on the planet, and then
Well, yes,
like,
I'm sure they realize that that's what it means. But dude, it would mean turning the Earth into a barren fucking rock
Hmm.
where there's chance that life would never return. It's not
yeah,
resetting the Earth;
Yes.
it's destroying the Earth and all, but in its capability of supporting life.
Yeah, I
Ugh.
know. I mean, I get it, but it just made me laugh when I saw reset the earth. We're gonna reset the earth. Okay.
I mean, Elon will get away, of course.
he'll go on his private spaceship.
He'll get off on that rocket. Oh, the last one blew up.
Don't worry. They're getting
Fucking
there.
idiot.
He'll get in one of his ugly ass tank trucks.
The Cybertruck.
Yeah, the Cybertruck, fucking ugly ass piece of shit.
He'll,
So
he'll,
so
he'll get on
ugly.
this rocket and he'll land on Mars and he'll hop in his Cybertruck and he'll start a colony.
People keep insisting he's smart. I thought he was the first times I ever heard about him. Then, of course, as I have seen what he's done and said, I really would love to see any signs of intelligence there.
Smart business wise, yes. Smart as
No, no, no. How much fucking money has he lost on Twitter? He's not a fucking
Oh,
smart businessman.
yeah, he's kind of messed up the whole Twitter thing.
well,
He may want to convince everybody that he's a smart businessman like certain other presidential candidates do, but he's fucking not. He's an idiot. He was born rich. He'll always be rich. I wish I could throw away money like that.
So do I.
so
But
my week has been a lot better than Darth Pat's.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yes, let's get over the Darth Pat wallowing in self-pity portion of the show.
Yes,
okay,
we're
let's move on to Jeremy.
well. 2 weeks ago now, I got a promotion at work, so that was pretty awesome.
Oh, kudos,
So,
congrats. That's good.
which came with a nice pay increase, which was nice too. So,
Sweet. And
Ah, regurgitation, Selvectica.
what shall you be doing at the good old job of Jobby Jobs?
same thing. Like position
Okay.
hasn't changed. Like my title has changed, but actually, like what I do in that position, I am now a senior trainer.
Oh,
So
you moved up
instead
to
of just a
the senior title like your age.
yes, they
Middle
gave me
age
the senior
guys,
title.
senior.
So
Oh,
it does give me the
spectacular.
opportunity because of that title to be involved in more projects in different types of training.
Okay.
So it gives me that opportunity. So that's a good thing.
Do you
So
get to since you're now a senior trainer, does that mean you get to train the trainers?
I've actually already been doing that. Like I've been working on a project that is part of our what we call trainer certification. Like we have a couple different certifications that we do within our department that our department handles. So um,
Okay.
I'll get to participate in some more of those because some of them are leadership programs. So
Ah,
Oh
sweet.
dear, you took away my fun again because you already do what said you were doing.
so, but yeah, it's nice. So it's nice to get recognized for the work that you do, and that
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it
to
is.
not have to be like, okay, well, if I want that position, I guess I have to apply for it. It's a recognition type deal. So
Well, that's good. Congratulations to you.
Damn
That's
it.
awesome.
thank you.
If I
But
want this position, I have to apply myself. Man,
Look
but
at that.
that wasn't in the fucking manual.
but yeah, it's let's see what else has happened. Lucas's basketball's over, so that's unfortunate, but good too. It's good. Baseball will be coming around here in like the next week or so because
What's baseball?
they're doing evaluations for it's so goofy. So the
Baseball.
biddies, which is the not the next level Lucas is playing. Lucas is playing grasshoppers,
Oh
and then it
God.
goes to biddies. Yeah, it's so
Grasshopper
like they
and
got
Biddy. The names they come up with are just
yes.
I think they're a little bit
Yeah, so
outrageous.
it goes biddy, then midget, and then knee high.
Okay, I already have a goddamn headache. Please, please stop adding to it.
So,
Knee high.
but they have
Uh,
evaluations for the biddies because in the biddies they have two different teams. They put teams in two different leagues. So they put the better kids in the harder league, and then of course the kids that need additional, you know,
development.
development they'll put on the lower league. But it's just
Gotcha.
like, man, these kids are. My son's 8. He'll be playing at that level when he's between 9 and 10. I'm like, really? We have to make it that competitive at that age already? Like that's
Yep.
ridiculous to me. Like and Joe, we're youth. We were youth sports coaches.
Yeah.
Like it should not be that competitive at that age because to me, that's parents wanting it to be that competitive, not the kids. Kids just want to go out and learn a sport, have fun playing a sport, and if they win, they
It's
win.
it's more of the parents.
So
Definitely is. I
Either
have
win or die.
so I found this the other day, and this goes off AAU, like that video I shared that you seen before, Jeremy,
AU, the death of
right?
sports.
Yes. And the crazy part is about it is that I've been seeing more college coaches who are trying to get involved in AAU or are currently involved, have been involved in AAU, talking about how bad it's getting in former
Mm-hmm.
NBA players. So I found this that was posted. This was something that Jamal Crawford um, spoke about to a what's it called?
Do you have a video for us? Do you have a video for the audience?
No, it's not.
Okay, you're
It's
reading.
just a
All
post.
right.
Yeah, it's like somebody called Geno Sports
No video.
Skills.
What good are you?
It was a interview that Geno Sports Skills for basketball did with Jamal Crawford for AAU. He says, let's see. Okay. It says, being in the gym over these last few months in national games, watching, listening, talking to, hearing, there's a lot wrong with AAU. But the parents are near the top of the list. It's sickening. The delusion that exists is crazy. If we're always making excuses for our children's behavior, where it has to be someone else's fault, and we're not teaching them accountability, we're not setting them up. We're setting them up to fail. If we're always criticizing a coach or a program who is given their own time to benefit your child's development and well-being, and that's not enough, you should coach them to give them all you want them to have. As parents, we have to be better. Looking back when I played AAU, the thing I take the most pride in is my mom or dad never complained to the coach I ever played for from 8 years on. They said, you want all the things you say you want, figure it out and go get better. Looking back, I wear that with pride. And honestly,
Absolutely.
I gotta sneeze.
Sneezing is
Ooh, sorry.
sneezing is forbidden.
Um,
No, you
and
just did it, so I'm afraid we'll have to kill you now.
oh God, I want to sneeze some more now. It's my it's the
So yeah,
allergies.
it's one of
Yeah,
those
we're
things
not
like
talking about sleep.
AU is not the actual thought of AAU and what it gives kids the opportunity to do as far as like the level of play for the kids that can play at that level, the ability to get them in front against other kids from other states and actually play against some of the best talent in the country. That's a good thing. Like that's a great thing. The bad things that come out of it are the organizations that pose themselves as AAU but are not really true AAU programs because they're playing in tournaments maybe in like just give an example like so in Pennsylvania these guys might travel to different areas of Pennsylvania. Maybe they'll go to Jersey or Delaware or maybe up to New York, but that's as far as they go. Like they keep it very localized. Um, and they charge a lot of times they're charging
The money,
high
it's a money
high
grab. It's like a money
high
grabber
yeah, they charge a lot of money per kid, and
for a
that does not
promise, for a
include
promise.
right, and it doesn't include like their tournament fees, it doesn't necessarily include their travel fees, it's just the sign up fee. So these parents are putting out buku bucks for these kids to play in and I'm going to use quotes here, an AAU team when it's not really truly that. And a lot's also changed. The other bad thing is it's turned into, and one of the a college coach talked about this with his son because his son was involved in one and he was coaching it. He practiced twice a week, and then they have games like on the weekends. Um, and he'd had kids that wouldn't come back the next year because they met up with another coach that said all you have to do is show up for games, and they were playing. And these kids are playing like 6 games a weekend. That sounds all great, but practice is actually where you get better. Game is where you implement the knowledge and the practice that you got. Games are where you test the skills that you've learned and apply them against an opponent. You have to practice to get better. You can't not get better in a game because there's no you can't. It's in-game corrections, but you have to go back and practice all those corrections throughout the week.
Yeah, there's a lot. The parents are so bad in regards to their kids. These AAU programs promise, oh, your kid's got talent, this, that, and the next thing. And they're making such open promises or empty promises, however you want to look at it. And it's kind of like, we're taking all your money. And then when your son's not playing a lot and the parents are getting upset, then the coaches have their excuses of why this, that, and the next thing. And, it's just one downhill spiral after another. And, the other thing too is, basketball is kind of like the worst for AAU. So I know softballs have some issues and baseball has as well, but basketball is
Yeah,
really
travel
bad
ball.
with it. But you know, I've heard coaches, college coaches specifically talk about, you look at the NBA right now and you look at all the European stars who are in the NBA or European um high level players. Like there's a lot more European
Yeah,
players in the NBA that are like recognized than even 10 years ago, to be honest. The reason being is because their youth programs practice 2 to 3 days a week and their game days are on the weekend.
yeah,
It's
they have one and they
practice.
play one game.
Yep. And they three practices and then you play your game on Saturday or Sunday. It's back to practice. Next weekend's the next game. They do that. And, yes, the rules are different. There are differences in
Right.
rules and like, offensive plays, defensive plays, things like that.
And their
The
practices
big,
are what I've heard, and sorry to interrupt, Joe, but what I've heard is their practices, and I have no way to prove this because I haven't like found any film on practices because that's gonna not that it's impossible, but their practices are based around fundamentals. It's not about okay, let's go get every kid's got to get 60 shots up. No, it's around being able to pass the ball, being able to play defense, being able to dribble the ball, all the
it
things that
is.
go into being a fundamentally sound. That doesn't mean they don't shoot. It's just not the primary focus. Where here, it's about how well can you dribble the ball and how many shots can you make. That's
Showboating, stuff like
that's the
the high
focus
real
here in
shit.
America is shoot, 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 and dribble, dribble, dribble. What about the
Eh,
other things a part of the game? Can you
Yeah,
pass the ball? Can you play defense? Can you do any of those things? Do you know how to set a screen? Like so.
it is. It
Continue, Joe.
is.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's fundamentals. Like that's why you see so many European guys 6'7", 6'10", 7 foot, 7'2", 7'4". They practice fundamentals. That's why those big guys can shoot the three. That's why those big guys can do crossovers or have good handles. Because no matter what size you are, they all practice the same set core group of fundamentals and they continue on from there and they keep doing it and they implement plays and play tougher defense in Europe. Like I was telling you guys before, I don't remember if you both were on or it was Pat or Jimmy, whatever. Like I watch um like on Spectrum, they have a channel called Bally, which is kind of filed for bankruptcy, I think, or whatever. But anywho, Bally Sports Network has the British Basketball League, and they play like I think every weekend. I think if you don't play on a Saturday, if you play on a Thursday, you don't play Saturday. And then the next week you always like play on Saturday. Like usually it's always on the weekend, but they practice during the week and they have their one game. I think there is a Thursday game, but it's mostly Saturday games. And I watch it. They have like the NBA 3, you know, there's a little differences in, in Europe, the ball's on the rim, you could swipe it off. You see a lot more of that. There's a lot more rim protection play, and the rules are set up right. I don't think they're a little bit more lenient with the 3 second rule, but there's some differences. You see a lot more tougher basketball. So it's like the fundamentals and the tougher basketball being played from when these kids are in youth basketball all the way up until they ready to go to college or ready to go to US for college or the pro leagues in the European world. You know, they come to the NBA. Yeah, it's easy for them because there's no fucking defense. They already have the skill set. Their skill sets half the times 10 times better than the American players. Hence why all these European players are doing so good. Like you could put a legit 12-man roster of all European players, and they would you put them in a 7-game series with the American players. I would put money on the European players to come out victorious in a 7-game series against the American players. No matter if you have Steph Curry or LeBron on that team or not, those European players are gonna do a lot of damage.
Well, and I'll tell you, I see it. You can
That's
tell.
why
You
they're
can tell.
dominating the NBA right now because of that.
You can see in the high school level, the high schools that have good youth programs have really good high school programs because you can see the fundamentals. Like you can see,
Yep.
let me say, you can see the lack of fundamentals and understanding of the game
Yeah.
from in the high schools that have really good youth programs compared to the ones that have youth programs, but maybe don't have the coaches that understand how to teach it. Because that's really where it comes down to is these are parents. Some of them enjoy the game of basketball or did it because their kids involved in it and they needed a coach. You know,
And
so
these coaches aren't skilled. These coaches haven't been trained properly to coach these kids, and that's the other issue. They
right
kind of want to
as
be the
as
be their friends and not really be
right.
disciplinaries and
Well,
and, and,
as
and do
high
what they
school
need.
coaches, we need, and I might suggest this to our head coach, is we need to have a clinic for coaches, like a coaches clinic
Yeah.
for the youth coaches to come in and talk to us and get knowledge from us as the high school coaches and give them things that they can use to go teach the youth organization, the kids that coming through the youth organization, so that they can know what's expected, what these kids need to in order to play at this
Yeah.
next level. Like, and every year they should be getting these things, and you should always be hammering these things and stuff like that. Damn, that's a good idea. I just came up with shit.
Hey, listen, they have
Go
they
sell it
have
and make a lot of money off of it.
they have coaching clinics throughout the U.S., but
Oh
a
yeah, they
lot
do.
of a lot of times there's not enough within around the U.S. to have it more localized for a lot of players. A lot of coaches, but they're having to travel several hours away, and take money for a hotel to get into, a coaching clinic and all that. That's a lot. There was more stuff like localize and come up with some stuff for the colleges, and the high schools in the area to do clinics in every state. That would be fantastic because that would be a great thing, for all the sports. You just need it because you're still learning how to be a youth coach because there's a lot that goes into it.
Hmm.
Like, listen, we did it. I did it for over 10 years. And it's just one of those things where, you're coaching kids at a certain age group where, even the older kids, sometimes you're not just your coach. They look to you as a big brother or a mentor or, whatever the case may be, because at the end of the day, like there's sometimes they don't, they'll come to you with personal issues that they can't go to their parents with or whatever the case may be. So, you got to learn how to cope with and deal and help these kids out in that aspect too. I'm like, I'm not a guidance counselor, but you just don't let your if you know there's an issue, you gotta be there for them. Open your ears and listen and help them out as best you can. Because sometimes too, like we've both coached the city kids, man. I remember dropping off one kid at his uncle's, and next day, and picking him up at his aunt's, and then dropping him off at his cousins. Because his mom's boyfriend's in jail, but she's MIA. Don't know where she's at, and it's him and his brothers living in the house, and that's not good. So
Yeah.
these kids are born into situations that it's not their fault, but
Yeah.
they're just trying to live their life and deal. So there's a lot that goes into that, and these clinics will be helpful. It's helpful to get experience from high school and college coaches to help out with these manners and learn new stuff for basketball too. It's always nice to pick the brain and kind of like implement new things and learn new things from coaches who've been doing it for a long time, and up your coaching game to help your team and help yourself.
Well, yeah, and I've seen coaching clinics. Like I've gone to like youth clinics where they like talk about this more on the psychology end of things, like how to, what does it mean to be a good coach? Um, learning to talk to kids, understanding kids, being a good role model and things like that, more on the psychology of the coaching aspect of youth sports. Uh, but I've seen online like a coaching clinic set up for the guy was a college coach and it was a Canadian college coach and he had a clinic for high school coaches. So he had and he demonstrate like warm up drills and this and like then he explained like why we do this drill and what's the purpose of this drill and how they continue to evolve the drill as the season goes on and what they add to it and things like that. So it was really 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 interesting to watch. But
Yeah,
so
it's
but yeah
helpful.
that's but yeah it's we want to keep kids in youth programs. We want youth programs that strive. Well, we got to make sure that coaches are equipped with the tools that they need to be able
And
to
we're
do the best for these kids,
we're
especially
doing
the ones
right
that
by the
really want to
kids.
be there,
Yeah, and we
that
got to
aren't
make sure we're
just,
doing right by the kids and not giving them false hope.
yep. So if
That's
Why are
I,
we
really what
doing?
the program.
I
Yeah,
I would always have the right answer for why we're doing this drill.
because I said we're doing it.
brother.
Well, yeah,
God,
more
North
along the
Carolina's
lines.
shooting is terrible.
Yeah, I don't
Brick
know.
City out there.
I turned it off about 10 minutes ago. Because I know what pushes my buttons, and I didn't feel like having them pushed. Anyway, um, you made me lose my train of thought. Got it. Oh no, no, no. I and I can say
Oh, I
the
don't
Exactly, I
know.
agree with
reason
you.
Okay, he's
the
his
reason why
brains.
we I would tell the kids why we're doing a drill is quite simple. Be like, oh, Coach Pat, why are we doing this drill? I don't know, but they made me do it when I was a kid, so now you must suffer as well.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. For the before too. So let's get on a lighter note here. Last Saturday, while I was not on the show, I was at the Fluffy concert, comedian
Hmm.
Fluffy, and that was freaking hilarious. It was a great show. He had his longtime friend Martine open the show,
Oh,
and
nice.
he was hilarious. It was funny, really good stuff.
Martine.
And then some other comedian named Michael, I don't remember his last name. He was pretty funny too. Definitely so. It was some good stuff. There was like about a 20-minute intermission, and the stage was like set up as like a TV from the 90s, and all he was showing was like commercials from the 90s. So like, hypercolor t-shirts, Crystal Pepsi, like MTV stuff, Nickelodeon stuff, like all this crazy stuff. What was those cassette tapes? Maxwell cassette tapes. The one where the guy's like sitting in the chair and the butler comes over with a Maxwell tape, for high performance sound or whatnot. Um, there was an old car
Did they
commercial in
show my
there.
all-time did they show my all-time favorite 90s commercial?
What was that?
The Palantir All Fruit.
No.
The one where the guy goes, Could you please pass the jelly?
Yeah, no, they didn't show that one. There was a whole bunch of them and whatnot, and then he came on and he did about, yeah, I think the show was probably like he did about hour and 40 minutes or an hour 45 minutes. His specific show was. So yeah, it was super cool. They were selling some stuff. They had a QR code to get some stuff on a certain part of the website for like products for the shows and whatnot. And they had a couple
Yeah,
stands
that's how
out
they
there.
get you.
Well, I know.
That's
I
how
didn't buy it.
that's how
We,
they get you.
we didn't really didn't get anything, but yeah, overall, it was a good time. Me and the wife went out. It's been a while since we've done something like that, and he is hilarious. Such good shit, and I suggest he does a really good fun show. If you ever get an opportunity, he's in the area, definitely go see a show because it's worth it. It 100% is worth it. So it was a good time. Absolutely. I had fun. I always enjoy his comedy specials.
Oh yeah, his comedy's freaking great.
It's a good
And he
time.
does it with very, very, very minimal cursing,
Yes, yes. He he
which I
he, and
think is
he
pretty interesting.
yeah, he brought that up in the show too, and like he was talking about like I've always said the F bomb 3 times. And then he went into something and he said, "You've said fuck." He goes, "Oh, that's the fourth. Told you. I probably won't hit five." And he just like kept going and whatnot. So yeah, there was some good bits in there, and he is working on some new stuff, which was really good and whatnot. So yeah, it was super fun. Definitely super fun.
Well, that's the thing. Like as a comedian, like sometimes you're like, where did they come up with their material? And a lot of times, like their early stuff is always about like their life, their early life, and stuff. But it's like, how do they keep coming up with the material? Like, and I think
I
he even
know.
said it one time, like I think the special that he did from Dodger Stadium.
Mhm.
Um, he's got so many stories, from his life, just even since he's been in stand up, like all the stories that he hasn't told them all. Like there's just so many stories that he has. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. His life is. I can only imagine what his life is like with the people that has met, the people that were part of his inner
Oh yeah.
circle, and stuff like that.
So his last joke of the night was fucking hilarious. So he's talking about how him and Martine were going and doing like casinos, right? So he starts it off like doing casinos, and like these casinos are on Indian reservations. And he was talking about how he went to one place. He's like, "We're not Indians, we're Native Americans." He goes to another one. He says, "Native Americans." They're like, "We're not Native Americans, we're this." And like he kept going on. And then he talks about how he had to go to Canada to do a show, one of the Canadian cities that's right across the border from Detroit. So um, he's talking about being over in the city, over in that city, doing a show. And like while he was over there, he's kind of like, how many Americans are here? Because they're in Canada and he wants to see how many Americans. So what surprised him was the whole place started cheering. Come to find out that there was the people who bought the tickets for the show were all from Detroit from a company. So the company bought all the tickets for the one night of his show. And then he ends the show. He goes, "You know what? It's the first time ever. I made history." And I don't remember, I'm just ad-libbing some of it. He's like, "I made history." He goes, "I got the Americans to cross the border to see a Mexican." And it was kind of like hilarious, it was like, Mexican crossing the border. He's like used that whole thing reversed. Like it was like the way he presented it, it was just hilarious. The whole place was like up and fucking roaring in tears. It was great. But yeah, it's such a fun time. And that's man, I can't tell you the last time I've been in a comedy show, of that manner. I've done some improv, gone to some improv stuff, and
Hmm.
I remember that what's is it a Ramada Inn? Like when you're driving on 22 and you pass the mall, where the Best Buy is in Lehigh
The
Valley.
Ramada.
Yeah, they used to do a lot of comedy shows there and improvs there back
Yes.
in the day. So I went to a couple of them. Some were kind of good, some were kind of shitty, but I went there. So I was kind of like last time I really went to a comedy show per se. So it was really cool to see this because we've been waiting for him to come closer down here to go see it. So it was great. Definitely
Well, yeah,
fun.
he came to the Allentown Fair, and my wife and I went to see him, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome, and it was really funny because he said the way that he came up and got to Allentown, he drove through Slatington, and I had to laugh because, of course, just his quick trip through Slatington, he's talking about very about it being redneck in that area, and I'm like, yeah. It is somewhat, yeah.
Oh
Very
yeah,
true. Depending on what
very
part
very true.
you travel to, yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, it's a fun show. Definitely cool. Oh, oh,
So it's funny, my wife and I are coming up on 14 years. I know you and your wife are coming up on 14 years here too.
mm,
And I said, I know we're not going anywhere this year. Like maybe we'll go out to dinner or something like that. But I said 15. I said 15, we're doing something because we missed 10 because of freaking COVID. 15, we're doing something. I was like, I don't care where we're going. I said 6-hour drive is the maximum. No, that's as far as I'm going to drive, but we're going somewhere. And then my wife had the brilliant idea. She's like, we should go see a show. We should find a place where somebody that we want to see is putting on a show, and we should go see the show. I was like, I like that idea. So we're going to find a place an area that we want to go, that a artist is going to be playing that time frame, and we're going to go there and see the sights and go see a show.
yeah, no, absolutely. Um, like I took a couple days off for hours, but I'm not sure what we're gonna do. We'll do something, but like 15 is same here with us. Like 15, we gotta, figure out something. I'm gonna take the whole week off of work and, do something a little bit different. Try to figure out what to do. But yeah, 10, yeah, COVID,
I
all
was
that shit.
so pissed. So pissed.
Yeah, dude. I really,
Because
really, I wanted to go to Disney. I wanted to go down to Disney to Galaxy's Edge. I wanted to go to Star Wars World, man. But
because we were because I was
it's all
I
good.
was days away from booking um a place in Virginia. I was gonna book a bed and breakfast down in Virginia. We are gonna spend like 3 days down there, like right near Virginia Beach, or no, Colonial. Where were we gonna stay?
Colonial Williamsburg?
No, not Williamsburg.
You started to say it.
Yeah, I know, but that's not. There's another historic area in Virginia, and I just can't think of
Mount
it.
Vernon?
Maybe, but we were gonna stay.
Monticello?
But we were gonna stay in like one of the colonial areas or historic areas of Virginia.
Richmond? Petersburg?
It might have been Richmond, but it was going to be nice. I was like, oh, this is going to be sweet. We'll get to see some sights. We'll take in a little bit of history, get some good eats. And then, of course,
Yeah.
COVID hit, and then we were going to try and go the following year. And then, of course, we had a wedding to go to instead, like right around the same time as our anniversary. I was like, oh, screw it. We're just not doing anything. Forget this shit.
Yeah, it's
That's commendable. You just gave up.
I did. I just gave up.
Sometimes you
um
gotta know when to fold them, know when to hold them, know when to
oh,
walk away,
okay, King
know when
Riders.
to run.
It's just one of
So
those things like, you know, we don't have to, like, there's certain things that we don't do a lot for. We don't do a lot for our anniversary because we know it's a day. We know what day it is. I don't really do anything for Valentine's Day. Birthdays we do, but like all these other little holidays that they try and make you celebrate your love for your loved one, we already celebrate our love all the time. Like I don't need a special day to freaking celebrate my love for my wife. That's every freaking day. Same for my kids. I love my kids every day. Like I don't
yeah,
need a
no, absolutely.
holiday to
I
prove
get
it.
it.
But there are iconic time frames in your life where you're just like, yeah, we should celebrate it. We've gotten to this milestone. Like a lot of couples don't get to here.
I
Yeah,
celebrate each day I'm above ground.
There you
there's
go. That's right.
that is correct. Not a lot of people are able to do that. So, Pat, I placed a bet on. I told you earlier I placed a bet on that game, right?
Yeah, it's not my fault that you stupidly bet. Okay, so don't you come crying to me.
No, no. I picked NC State to win the tournament. I won $145.
Okay, I
Nice.
demand all of it. Mental anguish.
So one of the things, just to let you guys know, so since sports betting is now legal in North Carolina as of the 8th at noon, or the 11th at noon, whatever it could be. Anywho, there was all this like these bets they were getting you, like DraftKings, deposit $5 and we'll give you $250 in free bets,
Hmm.
right? So I deposited $25. I already had a DraftKings and a FanDuel account from living in PA. So I already had $84 that I had won from FanDuel being in PA. So I still had that in my account since like 2017. And my DraftKings, I had like 20 some dollars. So I deposited 25 in each. And the DraftKings, I legitimately, it gave me $250 worth of free picks. So I used like half of it already to make different like picks. Like I used a couple to pick the MVP of the NBA, whatever, check the odds, so on and so on. And I've used it. I've won a couple of them. Not a lot of money because $25, depending what the odds are and all that stuff. But FanDuel kind of had something similar, but a little bit different. And they were doing like, the what was it called? I forget what it was specifically called, but they had a name for it. And it was like for NC State, Duke, and UNC because of the three, eight local ACC schools, the closest ones. Wake Forest is just a little bit further away, but close to. So it was pertainingly those ones, and it was like, you could do like a parlay. You can put like whatever you want down, and
Hmm.
if one of the three wins or whatever the case may be. So I decided just to bet on NC State, and I'm like, so I bet like $25 in NC State, and I won 145. And I was like, you know what? I used the free $25. So I was like, Maz, I'll use the free $25 on this. If I win it, I win it. If I don't, whatever. It's not a big deal. I didn't lose anything because I was using the free money they were offering for for it being in there. So yeah, $145. So um whatever you want at WrestleMania, Pat, the first food, since I bet against your team, I'll get you something.
Yeah, that's only fair.
So
Yeah.
Tammy's cousins graduated from NC State and whatnot. They go to a lot of college basketball and football games and whatnot too. So, but yeah, yeah. I didn't think it was gonna happen, but I guess it did. So it's all good. Just waiting for the money to deposit in my thing saying, hey, I won. But yeah. So next topic, I guess the NFL offseason has been a franchise mode in Madden franchise mode. That's what I
I'm
feel the NFL offseason has been with the free agent signings, the trades. It's a
Oh, damn
it's
it.
like the three of us have a Madden, franchise league, and we're just doing a fantasy draft and fucking teams up.
well, I would like to give a big shout out to the New York Giants for not re-signing Saquon Barkley and allowing the Eagles to be able to sign him. Um,
That, to
Look,
be honest with
okay.
you, that is one of
I
the
mean,
ones that really baffled me the most. To be honest with you,
yeah,
I was like,
yeah, okay.
and the only reason
Here's the thing.
that and
Yeah.
let
the
them finish.
The Giants didn't and I don't know what happened with the Giants and Saquon, but my understanding from the things that I had read is that Saquon did not actually really want to leave, but the Giants were not willing to offer him what he felt he was worth. So he left to go get what he felt he was worth, which is unfortunate because then you had people like Tiki Barber coming out and saying that, he's a traitor and, he's not a real giant and all these shit. And it's like, oh, shut up, Tiki Barber. Like, nobody cares about you. Like, you're irrelevant. Sorry. Okay, go ahead, Pat.
Whilst it is true that nobody cares about Tiki Barber, uh, I don't disagree with him. Look, okay, here's the thing. Let me just say, The Giants basically decided that they were going to only pay Saquon X. I don't know what X was, okay? He obviously got more than that from the Eagles. So I do not blame him for taking as much money as he can get, especially since he's got an injury history. He's at a position which the league is clearly not valued to the extent that it used to. All those factors, okay? Um, I'm not going to disparage him because again, it's like he played at a local high school. He went to my favorite college. He was drafted by my favorite team. So I've like literally never rooted against him. I'm gonna be rooting against him now because I don't root for anybody who wears that fucking ugly green laundry. Right? It's like of all the places that he could have gone, it's like the absolute two worst places, of course, would have been the Eagles and another place where supposedly that may have had interest in him, which obviously was Dallas. So like any place else, I would have been like, yeah, that's the league. And I still am like that too, but yeah, he is dead to me now. So
And I saw that the Cowboys got rid of Tony Pollard. Like he's gone. I'm like,
it's
what?
it's not that they got rid of, it's that he
Well,
went and
yeah,
signed somewhere
yeah.
else,
He went to somewhere. I'm
so
like, are you kidding me? Like that was like
And that
the
was the
whole
other thing.
reason that Zeke left.
The whole running back carousel this offseason was insane. In those 3 days, there
yep.
were all these running backs signed with all these new teams. Like we got DeAndre Swift, you got.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys clearly wanted Barkley, so you didn't care about Swift, and we liked his talent, so we grabbed him. And that's the thing. Like the Keenan
Yeah,
Allen,
there was quite the running back carousel, yeah.
the Keenan Allen trade that we did last night too. Okay, great. I'll take Keenan Allen. That's fine. But then it's kind of like here's my biggest gripe. Like I think the guys that you brought in for my team in the free agency were good players. They're good quality players. They're going to help the team. But it's just one of those things. You could have did this last year to help Justin Fields, not this year.
Well, yeah.
So,
Well,
and
and
then
if the Bears do better, they'll be like, "See, Justin Fields was the reason that they were losing."
and it's really not. It's just
No, it's
and
not.
and it's one of those things too where I get aggravated where I keep hearing people reset the clock on the contract, or he's not the quarterback that polls. Justin wasn't the quarterback that polls drafted. He was from the previous regime. Yeah, but there's a lot of people within the team, the new president and other people that are very high on Justin Field and saw his talent. And it's kind of like you if you really wanted to see what he could have done, you should have done better last year and not get all these scrubs. Sorry, they're NFL players and not really scrubs per se, because they're in the NFL, but you're getting low quality NFL players to surround Justin Fields with instead of giving the people he should have had.
No,
So
there's
therefore,
definitely
that's
scrubs that
where
play in the NFL because there's so many damn positions in the NFL. There's so many players in the NFL. So there's definitely some guys that are scrubs. Like I look at the Eagles secondary. There's definitely some scrubbish players on that Eagles defense the defensive
so
secondary.
I guess we're drafting Caleb Williams one. I guess we're getting a wide receiver or a defensive end at number 9. And then we only have 2 more draft picks for the rest of the draft, a third and a fourth, and that's it.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
we've added depth to our offensive line. We traded for Bates from Buffalo. I don't know. Like it is what it is. I don't know. We don't run the teams. We're just fans, and we just got to deal with the consequences of what the owners and GMs do for these
Yeah.
teams.
I got to look at
But
the Eagles page because the Eagles
but
did some other moves too.
but once again, we have 2 former Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks in the NFL draft this year that are one of 2. They're both in the top 5. You know, in quarterbacks. But like I said, I brought this up to one or both of you at one point. I brought up the Pat. When was the last time a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback won the NFL Super Bowl? 1980. And it's only been done twice. And both those quarterbacks did it twice.
Yeah,
So
we got Kenny Pickett. What the hell?
Oh yeah. You guys traded for Kenny Pickett to back up to Jalen Hurts. They did that trade so they could trade with the Bears to get Justin Fields, which is
somebody
gonna be a backup, which is just
yeah,
insane.
somebody posted something on Facebook. I wish I could find it now. I probably can't. showing how and it wasn't considered a great quarterback class or anything like that. So it's not, like, oh, they were all expected to be great. But it was like saying about like what's happened to like everybody who like all the quarterbacks who were drafted in 2022. And as Joe Girardi used to say, well, it's not what you want because most all of them have already been traded.
Yeah.
And why the hell? Like, I get it, but C.J. Gardner Johnson's back on the Eagles now.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Just pretty much assist, like this, said all kinds of well, I wouldn't say all kinds of inappropriate things, but he definitely said some things when he was gone, when he left.
No, that guy's a trash talker beyond a trash talker.
So there were one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. There were
Bryce Huff and
nine.
Matt Bond.
There were nine quarterbacks drafted in the 2022 NFL draft. So again, 2 fucking years ago. All right. The only first round quarterback was Kenny Pickett by the Steelers. He's now been traded to the Eagles. In the third round, there were three guys taken. Desmond Ritter by the Falcons. He just got traded to the Cardinals. Malik Willis by the Titans. He's already pretty much looking like career backup, if that. And Matt Corral by the Panthers. I think, is already even out of the NFL. I think he was playing in one of the other leagues already. In the fourth round, the Patriots took Bailey Zappi. He's still with them, I think, but I think they cut him once and brought him back already too. So in the fifth round, the Commanders took Sam Howell. They just traded him, I think, to Seattle. In the seventh round, the Steelers took a guy named Chris Oladukin, who was from South Dakota State. I don't think he ever made the roster. And the Dolphins took Skylar Thompson, and I don't think he ever made the roster. And then, of course, with the last pick of the draft, the 49ers took Brock Purdy.
The only guy still with his team. Mr.
Well,
Irrelevant.
no, I mean, Zappi's still with the Patriots, and Willis is still with the Titans, but they're
But,
not exactly like starters or anything. And they might even also say that their roster spots are tenuous. I mean, I don't know. Again, well, I mean, the Titans also, of course, they went and drafted, Will Levis last year. And, I don't know what exactly their plans are at quarterback because they haven't brought anybody in this year from what I've seen. And the Patriots, of course, traded Mac Jones to be Trevor Lawrence's backup in Jacksonville. So, I mean, New England's probably drafting somebody, though. So,
yeah,
but
they're
yeah,
probably,
so great
Yeah,
quarterback class.
it's definitely been interesting. Like in the
yeah,
DeAndre
unfortunate.
Swift one, like I understand why they let him go because of who they were getting, but in a way, I feel bad for Saquon because DeAndre Swift came out like a bat out of hell in the first couple games, and then all of a sudden he disappeared, and that was not because of him; that was because of the play calling. You
He
now have a
literally
back.
disappeared off the face of the earth.
You literally have, a running back that is an elite running back, and you'll probably use him in a very good scheme in the beginning of the season. And the same thing will happen, like has happened to almost every running back that's been in the Eagles organization for the last 5 years. They become useless unless they can catch out of the backfield because they don't run the ball consistently. It turns into a pass because they start playing from behind most of the time.
Yeah, and
So
that's gonna worry me about trying to draft him. That's I'm kind of questioning how they're gonna use him because I'm kind of afraid to draft him next year. That's the biggest
yep,
reason.
yep. And
Hey,
not
I
that
mean,
not that NFL teams need to be run heavy, but you need to be consistent with the run.
yeah,
That's the key. Is you don't have to be run heavy. We know it's not the '80s NFL anymore. We know that, but there's consistency in game planning. You know.
I mean, shit. Let's see what Baltimore does next year with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the backfield. That's going to be interesting what they do with those two together. I might have to give Derrick Henry a little side asterisk of
Might
maybe I should
give him a
draft
sniff.
Derrick. Yeah, maybe I should draft Derrick Henry just cause. You never know. You never know.
He got injured last year, didn't he? I feel like he got injured last year. Or
Oh
was
yeah, I was waiting for a couple games, but yeah. I think he did. I forget it was a groin or some shit like that, groin or hamstring. But yeah, listen, wild NFL offseason. And it's not done yet. I mean, shit, we have the draft coming up at the end of April, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some more draft day trades and shit like that involving
Oh, there almost definitely will be. I mean, that
not,
just
but not just like straight draft picks. I feel like there could be some more wheel and deal with actual players being traded with for draft picks and this, that, and the next thing. So we'll see. I still think that's a possibility. I mean, for how this
Yeah,
whole season's gone, who the hell knows? Shit.
yeah. The one thing I always say about Howie Roseman, and I don't envy him having that job or anybody in that position in any organization, is he's always been
No.
a better trader than he has been drafter. Like
Hmm?
his draft picks have not necessarily always been the best. Um, Sometimes they look good in the beginning and then they kind of fall apart. Like
Yeah.
because he did draft. Why can't I think of his name all of a sudden? Shit. Boy, terrible wide receiver. He was a terrible, terrible wide receiver. Why can't I think of his name? Same year that Justin Jeffers came out, we took him over Justin Jeffers.
Oh God, the wide receivers. I can never
Yeah, but
freaking
anyway, yeah, it
remember.
was just terrible pick. I forget who he went to. They traded him like 2 seasons ago now, but it was just bad. And then he did draft Jalen Hurts, and that's worked out so far. But he did draft, I think Carson
has
Wentz,
it
which
though?
was what's that?
Has it though?
So far, I would say it's worked out in regards to his potential. I don't know if they win a Super Bowl with him. I'm still up in the air with that. I don't know. Like my biggest thing with Jalen Hurts that gives me worries that he will not make that leap is he doesn't
Jalen Rager.
Jalen Rager, thank you. Is he's emotionless. Like he's like a freaking robot on the field as far as like emotions go. So I don't know how you can be a leader of a team, whether you want to or not, and not have show any emotion, no excitement, no nothing to get your team going when they're down or when they're doing well, you know. So it's just that's my only critique of him that really drives me nuts. Um, so we'll see. Like I said, I don't know if they win a Super Bowl with him.
It's to
So
be determined with him,
yeah,
really.
to be determined. I mean, he's definitely got the weapons. He's got the weapons on offense. Can't say he doesn't. But now, what do they do on the defensive end? Coming up this year. Who we got C.J. Gardner Johnson back, but that's one person, and there's probably a reason why the other team let him go. And there was a reason that we let him go. So it's
Yeah. So
it's gonna be a journeyman
yeah,
defensive
probably.
back. Play for any
Probably.
team that'll take him.
So I guess we can move on to the weekend of all weekends that's coming up that we're going to be going to and talk about the matches that we know are solidified so far.
Yeah, let's do that. We got night 2 is going to be. I just saw it because I'm rewatching Monday Night Raw. Well, I shouldn't say rewatching, watching it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to run down these 10 matches that are technically confirmed at this point.
Yeah,
We're
I'll tell you which
going,
ones I'm excited for. Yeah.
so we're going to have, well, some of them we know what's going to be night 1 and night 2. But anywho, so we have night 1, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, the determined stipulation for undisputed WWE Universal Championship match on night 2. And then on night 2, we have the Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes Universal Championship match. Then we have Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Hold up. Stepping back for a second. Did I hear you correctly? We're having a tag team match to determine the stipulations for night
Yes.
2's match.
That's what's happening in night one. That's going to be the main
So
event for night one.
this is how we get the Rock involved in a match
Yes,
that he doesn't need to be involved in.
correct.
Are
Awesome.
you have you not been paying attention the last
No, I haven't been
two
paying attention. I
weeks?
really have not been paying any attention. That's why I
Yes,
turned on
that's
Raw.
I
yes,
see.
So
yes,
yes, I did
yes,
see that Cody slapped The Rock in the face, but that was the last thing I heard between Cody and The Rock. So we're
yes,
making
yes.
Cody and Roman Reigns do double duty on WrestleMania night. Okay,
And
gotcha.
and Seth Rollins.
And Seth Rollins, yeah, because he's got to fight Drew on day 2.
Yes,
All right,
hold
so
on,
I'm
let
not
me.
looking forward to the tag team match.
Yeah, this is we got that's a tag team match. Roman versus Cody night two. Seth Rollins and Drew night two. Then we got the WWE Women's Championship match, Io Sky versus Bayley. Then the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Then we have
So
the
the first women's match, yes. Second women's match, not so much because um, I like Becky, but I don't need to see her in another title match.
I'm more looking forward to the Rhea match than I am the Io Sky Bayley match. I don't
Yeah, the
I
Rhea Becky, the Rhea Becky match is going to have a hell of a lot more audience care than the Bailey Io match. I really hate to break that to people,
Yeah, I know it will,
and it will
just
probably be a
because of who
better
they
match
are.
too.
Unfortunately, not enough people care about Io Sky.
Well, so when I had SmackDown on last night, and I didn't have the whole show on, but there was a couple of parts that I saw with Io, and both times, like, and again, I understand that you probably can't speak English very well, and obviously WWE is going to try to have her speak English and everything. But it seemed like Dakota was speaking, and then it seemed like the other two were doing something, and Io was just kind of standing there trying to make like faces and stuff. And I just, again, the feud makes sense, of course, but it's like, yeah, I'm already bored with it. And I knew they were going to do that when they had Dakota come out and be like, Bailey, why haven't you been calling me? And then have her turn on her like a week later. It's like they did that too soon. So I guess not pushing my buttons, as they say.
all right, hold on, guys. Give me a second.
Yep.
These websites I go on, even though it's like USA Today is like making my computer run high because of all these stupid pop-up bad bullshits. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I like Bailey and I like Io Sky, but that match, I don't know. There's something with that match is not grabbing me. I'm a big Rhea Ripley fan, so I'm interested to see, her and Becky fight, regards to that. So then the other belt, we had the WWE Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther for Sami Zayn, which I was a bit surprised Sami Zayn won. I thought Chad Gable was going to win.
I like
And
that.
then,
I like
Well, I
that
mean,
matchup.
I don't care what anybody on the internet once again wants to whine about. Sami Zayn is still much more familiar than Chad Gable, and
yes,
he's been booked much less ridiculously, which is saying something.
yeah, no, absolutely. And then we have the WWE United States Championship match that is confirmed last night on SmackDown. That is going to be Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens in a triple
Okay,
threat match.
that'll be interesting. Um, I like the fact that Sami Zayn's in it because after having to do that bullshit match that he did the last WrestleMania with fucking Johnny Knoxville and the Jackass guys, or was that 2 WrestleManias ago now?
That was two
No,
WrestleManias ago. Last year,
was it
he and
2?
Kevin Owens wrestled the Usos.
Oh, that's right. He and Kevin. That's right.
Yeah.
So either way, he deserves to continue to get whatever he can because you have to do a match in WrestleMania with Johnny Knoxville and the Jackass guys. You deserve a lot of credit. You deserve pretty much anything you ask for because that's some bullshit for any wrestler to have to do.
Yeah.
Oh
Then
my
we
God, he's
have
dead.
and then we have the six-pack
He's
ladder
dead.
match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions of the world. Where we have Finn Balor and Damian Priest going against to be determined, to be determined, to be determined, to be determined, to be determined. I didn't watch SmackDown last night. I read the results, so I don't know if any of these tag teams have been announced yet of the other five.
No, I was talking to our Ohio friend about this earlier today, and it's like they have to like qualify to get into a try. They're really they're using AEW style booking to do this, and it's going to be a fucking convoluted match too. So, I mean, the participants of this match may not be determined, but you know what has been determined about this match, in my opinion?
What? It's a circle jerk.
So
It's
let's
going to
figure
be the
out a way that we can
it's
get.
obviously going to be the clusterfuck match. So,
Let's figure
Yeah.
out a way that we can get 8 people on our roster into a match. How can we do this? Oh, we'll make it a
not eight,
6. Oh no, that's
it's
right, because it's a
12.
6-pack. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
6 tag teams. It's 12.
Well,
yeah.
How can we get 12 of our roster people on the card? I got it. Let's do some bullshit 6-pack tag me it. 6-pack tag match. That makes a lot
such
of
good
sense.
shit.
You don't
Yeah.
have to give us fucking everybody. We
I
just
know,
want to see
I
the
know.
best talent that night. Those 2 nights, the best talent those 2 nights. We don't need to
I
see
know.
every talent, just the best talent that you got. The stuff
It
that
says
makes
we're
fucking
going.
sense.
It says we're going to get 3 teams from Raw and 2 from SmackDown.
Oh, it's fucking stupid.
So then we had the last 2 singles matches. That is the Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso is happening, which is good. I'm excited to see that match. I want to see what happens in that match.
I think they should come out dressed exactly the same for that match, so we have to really wonder who the fuck is winning.
I know. No, what'll be in red, what'll be in blue. But my thing is, they're I don't even know if I think it's like a second cousin. Tonga from New Japan, I think has been in the performance center for a bit now. I'm not sure if they're putting them on the main roster or they're putting them on NXT, whatever they're doing. But I
I'll
mean,
put it this way: he should definitely not be making some kind of debut at WrestleMania.
well, he shouldn't be, but this is Triple H's world these days. You never know.
I don't think Triple H is that stupid. But he's how many people know who the fuck he is? Tama Tonga. Okay,
Not too many.
right. Triple H isn't Tony Khan.
I
He's
know.
not
I know.
going to. He's not going to just have this guy show up at WrestleMania and get involved in some way.
That's why I think Jade is not going to show up until the Monday Night Raw after Mania.
If even then.
Just because I don't think you want to put her on that type of stage, WrestleMania, as like her first match. Don't
You definitely don't want to.
don't do that to her. And then the final match that we have confirmed is good old AJ Styles versus LA Knight.
I like
You
that
gotta
match. That'll be a good match. That'll be a good match.
That'll definitely be a good match. Absolutely. So
So far, besides the 6-pack match, every match is
pretty legitimate.
And the stupid tag team match that they're doing are good, have the potential to be good matches. Whether the crowd's involved in every one of them is a different thing, is something to be seen, but they all have the potential to be good matches.
My guess is we get.
But we need a couple more matches because that's
I was
just
going to say, my guess is we get 2 more matches added. I just don't really want to try to speculate on what those 2 matches would be. One of them will probably involve some more of the women on the roster, I would guess.
I would think so because you just can't. That's 10 matches. Are you really going to do 5 and 5? Like,
Well, I mean, they'll probably have a women's tag team title match. So
yes,
Yeah.
and that's the one I'm been waiting for. So that would be match 11, and then we got to figure out maybe 1 or 2 after that. So, but that's the lineup right now. That's where we currently stand.
Yeah, that
for
6-pack
wrestling.
ladder match. Ugh, that's just making my
yeah, I'm trying to figure out again how they're fucking doing this shit.
Because my guess is
Uh,
both members of the tag team are going to have to climb the ladder to grab the belts. Not one person gets both belts.
no,
They're gonna
never
have. They're just probably gonna have one person needs to get up there to grab both belts.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it says, well, this doesn't really explain much, so forget that. Hold on, I'm still looking for something here. Okay, so
Thunderbolt
last night, during
Patterson.
the March 15th episode of SmackDown, 2 qualifying matches occurred to determine which teams from the Blue brand would participate in the six-pack ladder match. Sorry. So the Legado del Fantasmic team won, and I'm not saying this name. The Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate team, who of course just lost a tag team title match a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
won. But I don't know. Oh, okay. As a result, Legado del Fantasmic will face Dunn and Bate and Dunn, Master Bate, at a at a later date. The winner of that bout will qualify for the six-pack ladder match. So they're having matches to determine who will have a match to determine who gets into the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hey
I don't need to
guys,
see
don't
Pete
freak.
Dunne and anybody, whoever his stupid tag team partner in that six-pack ladder match, but I'm sure they'll make it in because they'll,
Guys, don't
people for
forget
some reason like Pete Dunne.
it's 316 days. So if you go on WWE shop, you get 31.6% off your entire purchase.
Well, too bad there's nothing from that side I want to buy. Anyway,
I can't wait to overpay for the stuff at WrestleMania. That's what I'm excited for.
I know.
well, yeah, my problem is the one shirt I wanted to order from Wrestling Bios, the YouTube channel that I watch, the Hogan that doesn't work for me, old Chinese proverb shirt, is out of stock in my size, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that
No.
now.
I know
You know,
mediums are hard to come by. It's really
yeah,
annoying.
mediums are very hard to come by,
No,
schmuck.
mediums.
Um, anyway, along the lines here then of this six-pack Stone Cold match, um, the Alpha Academy team of Tozawa and Otis will take on the New Day on Monday to qualify for. I don't know if that means they get in right away or can they have to have another match. And also, I don't care. They have now made this insufferable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're doing their thing, I guess, but
Yeah, they're
I
doing
do
their
get it.
they're doing their thing.
Yeah, they definitely are. Hey,
Speaking of doing
They have a Yankees 316 shirt.
speaking of doing things, I find this interesting. Long Beach State is leading UC Davis in the Big West tournament final right now. What's interesting about this is that Long Beach State has already announced that their head coach will not be their head coach next year,
Interesting.
and they're about to qualify for the tournament.
But he's not
That's
going to be the
not
coach.
awkward.
But he's not going to be the coach next year.
God damn fucking auto ads on ESPN.com. Kiss my ass and lick my balls.
Whoa, whoa! Don't tempt with a perfect time there, buddy.
I told you I wasn't in a good mood.
Don't tickle my
I
fanny,
told
Did you
Dad.
you.
really say that he's on the board of TKO in his promo and that means I'm your boss and I'm your boss? No, you're not the boss of anybody.
I told you to wait on the command ship. No, he is the boss in the sense that he can voice his opinion about things, but that doesn't mean anybody has to. That doesn't mean the CEO has to listen to him. Whoever the CEO is right now, I guess it's Nick Khan. One
Oh,
of the unnamed executives, as we found out this week. But what was I trying to say there? Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
like obviously now the board can band together to like have CEOs fired and shit like that, but yeah, again, once again, the board, a board member is not the boss of some rank and file employee at the company. And of course,
No,
we should probably throw this one back in there. Technically, Cody Rhodes is not even an employee of WWE.
give him the
right,
Cubs
because they're all
316
contractors.
shirt.
Yes. I mean, of course, we know he's not really a contractor, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So I I have to laugh going off of WWE a little bit, going over to AEW. I'm pretty sure that I see in the backdrop of when the Young Bucks came out, it said EVPs like in their package. Does it say EVPs now in their package, in their video
Yeah, I
package as
think
they
it
come out?
does,
Yeah.
but I don't want to talk about the Young Bucks package.
I think that is fucking hilarious. Um, Only because it's like they've embraced the fact that people know that they push their weight around in the back room to get what they want. So I find it kind of
Well, yeah,
hilarious that they embrace that.
yeah,
Um,
but here's the funny thing. Who's doing it better right now?
who's doing what better right now?
Who's doing the I'm a big shot at the company bit right now?
Well, The Rock is.
Of course he is. So once again, the Bucks still get upstage because they suck.
I think I want to order this Cubs 316 shirt from Stone
Well, and
Cold.
the fact that Matt and Nick are, which one is it? Nick? Is Nick the one that
Oh,
had the
you've just
blondish
been
colored
fined.
hair?
You've just been fined.
Oh, you didn't say his proper name of
You didn't
Nicholas
say his
and
proper name,
Matthew.
Yeah,
so
fuck,
you're fined.
whatever. Um, is Nicholas? That sounds like a little kid's name. Sorry, Nicholas. That's what my son's best friend's name is. Nicholas. That's what we call him. Okay.
The full name Nicholas is only acceptable in one setting, and that's in December.
Yes. So it Nick was the one that was blonde, right?
I
Like
don't
he had
know.
the lighter colored hair, wasn't he?
I
Like
don't know.
blondish brownish.
I think so, yes.
And Matt was
Nicholas is the one who can't really talk and is going bald, I believe.
well. I had to laugh because when I saw them on AEW on Wednesday, one of them definitely has colored their hair because it was the same
Oh,
color as the other guys,
yeah,
and
they've
like
they've they've kind of done their matching shit.
Yeah,
so
and
they look
we
like
also
freaking twin brothers now, almost not
I don't
just
know if
brothers
you've
now.
also noticed, but they've also trying to have been, I guess, increasing the douchiness because like their facial hair has changed from week to week.
But I really get
Yeah.
sick. I really get sick of them doing these poses because they're about as big as I am. So this is not very intimidating.
My arm is bigger than theirs, and there's no muscle on it.
Like this is not intimidating when you do this. Sorry.
No,
especially when you have no muscular definition to you, like it's
yeah,
not intimidating.
again,
I
I
don't
don't
think
want
they're
to go off
trying to
on
be intimidating, but it's kind of hilarious that they're doing the muscle
no,
poses.
their whole gimmick was always has been always will be no matter what iteration it is. Their whole gimmick is always we're openly mocking the entire concept of pro wrestling. And we don't really give a shit if people hate us or not, which in some ways is fine, but that is their whole gimmick. Their whole gimmick is wrestling's a joke. We're proving to you all the time that wrestling is a joke because we don't really wrestle anyway. All we do is flip and kick. We're not good promos. We're not entertaining. People literally change the channel when we come on now that we've been on TV for 5 years. Um, the episode a week ago where Okada showed up, they announced that Kenny was fired, and they said that because he attacked referees at the pay-per-view, uh, Hangman is suspended from the elite. Not that he is like suspended from the company, he's just suspended from the elite. And who fucking cares? Who
So
cares if he's suspended from the elite? This is just so fucking stupid.
so it was. So I'll say this about the Young Bucks, um, and this might apply to other wrestlers that I'm not as much aware of on AEW, but I feel like the Young Bucks took their craft more seriously. Maybe they still do. Doesn't seem like they do. Um, took it more seriously when they were on the indies and people had to go out and find them, and the only way that people were going to know they existed is by people talking about their matches and stuff like that. So Like they
I mean, since I didn't really watch them, then I maybe not qualified to say, but again, my whole thing is that they've never taken it seriously. Again, their whole motto and philosophy is killing the business, and it's like, well, yeah, that's exactly what you've been doing. Because now everybody thinks that so many other people seem to think that they're supposed to wrestle like you,
Hmm.
which is not the case. But yeah, I definitely think that since they've been on TV, since they started this company, um, they realize that they found a fucking sugar daddy. They're milking him for all he's worth, which on one level I can respect. If you can find some rich fucker who's that fucking stupid to give you oodles of money for which you're not going to make back for him, it's like I made a comment on a Cage Side Seats article today about I said something about like everybody in AEW is overpaid when somebody
oof.
and then somebody like questioned like how I knew what everybody was paid at and I didn't actually no hold on. I said something about somebody not earning what they're making not they're not worth what they're earning because like, they're not going to make it back for the company. And I don't remember who I was referring to. And then somebody said, "How do you know what they make?" and blah blah blah. And I just said, "Everybody in AEW is overpaid
Well, it's
because
interesting because if
this company doesn't make money from all the best reports that we have. So that means that nobody is worth what they're getting paid as far as like the people you see on television every week." And then somebody else replied to me saying that everybody in AEW is overpaid by going, "What?" And I just replied with the Stanley GIF from The Office of, "Did I stutter?"
it's one of those things like yeah, you look at the places that they're doing their shows at, that they're taping their shows at, they're not necessarily filled. They make them look like that to a point, but we never see the other side of the ring, so we don't know what's behind the hard camera as far as like that goes.
Yeah, and the hard camera's hard because they don't like to put a lot of people back there anyway.
Um, so we don't know what the whole entire ring looks like. Um, but if their wrestlers were getting paid like they paid wrestlers in the old days based on how much the house brought, and what your spot on the card was, I wonder what some of these guys' livings would look like based on those rules, the old school
Well,
rules.
yeah, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
Well, for one thing, probably half of that roster wouldn't have a fucking job because there'd be
that's
actually no
true.
reason for it to, especially since they don't do the fucking YouTube shows anymore. It's like I don't understand how some of these people still work. I understand it's like, okay, that's nice, Tony, that you're still paying these people, but there are so many people who are still probably lurking on that roster somewhere who there's absolutely no reason for you to be paying for them. You know what?
Yep.
So it's like you're not a fucking charity. And the fact that your father is just letting you do this is kind of fucking remarkable to me.
Do we
I
do
guess
we ex-
I guess he doesn't care about how much money he's losing though.
will we
Which
get a
once again, I guess that's really nice when you can afford to not have to care about how much money your fucking son is losing on his toy action figures, his life size action figures that he's booking in dream matches and thinking that everything in the company is great while the company shows no growth of any kind, never draws as much
um
as they do when they go back to a place, just on and on and on.
so it do we think we'll get a dark side of the ring out of this one day in the future?
Only
The
if
rise and
only if
fall of AEW, the death of AEW.
only if Tony's father decides to pull the plug. That's the only thing that'll ever change it anytime soon. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, they drew and I see people posting shit about ratings don't really matter. Look, WWE is down about the same amount of viewers over the same amount of time, and blah 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 blah. And they're cherry picking those numbers too, because I think they're only talking about Raw. They're not talking about SmackDown. So that's one problem right there.
No, of course.
And yes, you can definitely make the argument that the Nielsen rating system is outdated and it doesn't matter, and this, that, and the other thing. And I wouldn't disagree with you there either. But let me throw this one back at you. How else can you watch Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision?
On demand.
You can. Hmm.
Two
Okay.
days 2 days later. They changed. It used to be a day later. Now it's like 2 days later.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to watch it live, you got to watch it on the fucking when it airs on TV.
Yep.
There's no, they still don't have any kind
Or
of a streaming
DVR it
deal.
if for those people that still use DVRs.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I do, but their ratings don't show growth. They've shown negative growth. I mean, last week's show, the first show after the pay-per-view, which by all accounts was very successful and very, 5 and 3/4 stars for Osprey and Takeshita. Um, they drew under 800,000 viewers. Like they've settled in this baseline of like 800 to 850,000 viewers, and they didn't even draw 800,000 for this show after this pay-per-view that everybody said was so great.
So
And
the one
Okada shows up. They didn't even average 800,000 viewers for that show. And the actual
so
number
the,
was probably less too because they always have that artificial first quarter from people who forgot to change the channel when the Big Bang Theory ended. And then this week, they had the big show that they advertised the hell out of and said to you that, they said to you without saying to you, Sasha's going to be there. And they went up to 801,000 viewers. It was a 3% increase. And it had a really good first quarter hour again. And it held, as well as it could have, I guess, throughout the show. And then the fucking main event match was Willow Nightingale against Riho. And no offense to Willow Nightingale, but complete offense to Riho. The quarter hour for that match drew 650,000 viewers. So
Yeah.
they
so
lost 35% of the audience from start to finish.
so one of the
There is
things,
no way
Pat.
this company can grow with this kind of output.
So one of the things that those live ratings don't take into account is they do have a way of capturing the people that view within 3 days, like the people that go back and watch DVRs or will go watch on demand that
Yeah, they
way.
do.
So they do have a way of capturing those people. I would be interested to see how many people, like if we could find out what those viewerships are for them. I mean, it's probably not astronomical,
I mean, yeah, I'm
but
just gonna guess that it's still not anything significant, because again, and it's not just the ratings, it's the ticket sales. We see that when they go back to a place, okay, they were in for that show a week. I mean, they did well this past week for Sasha's show in Boston. They had, I guess, over 9,000 tickets or whatever. But again, that was also tickets distributed. So we don't know, one, how many of those were actually sold, and two, how many people actually attended. But like the week before that, they were in it was Duluth, Georgia, or something like that, and they said on Cornette's show that there were something like 3,500 tickets distributed for that show. And the last time they had been there for Dynamite, which was sometime within the last year, they had drawn over 5,000. There was over 5,000 tickets distributed. That's a pretty significant drop for, within the same year
yeah,
to,
fifteen
to, to
hundred.
have that
That's
money to have that much fewer attendance. So it's like, yeah, he keeps talking they're going to get some great TV rights deal, and I just keep saying to myself, if you were going to get, and they could, of course, I'm not saying they won't, but
You
I'm
got
also
the
saying at this
NBA
point,
has to be taken care of first.
right? That's what I'm saying. It's like, at some point it's got to just fucking happen, and I understand the NBA takes precedence, of course it does, but again, I don't see how this company is supposed to get any better when they don't draw as well, between tickets and ratings and the fact that the guy who runs the company is a mark and he thinks that everything is great and he doesn't think anything's wrong. And he's got, all these stories that we've seen recently about talent getting upset when they show up to the show and then they're told that they don't have anything to do, or talent outright refusing to do things and Tony saying, okay, you don't have to do it. This company is a fucking shit show, right? I don't know why I still bother to tune into it. I guess just to make fun of it. I don't even fucking know anymore. I really don't.
well,
There's
yeah, I
maybe
haven't seen.
for every one thing I see on AEW that I like, I see six things that I hate.
Yeah, I can't say that I've seen any matches recently that I've had the opportunity to tune in because I do forget, you know, what time Wednesday because I get so used to the time schedule for WWE stuff. because their schedule goes on an hour later. But what I have seen, there hasn't been anything extraordinary as far as matches go. Like nothing that catches my eye and like, oh my god, I can't wait to see that guy wrestle again. Um, I was
Because they
impressed
don't.
by
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Osprey's promo this week. Like that was a
Mhm.
really good promo, but that's 5 minutes,
Well,
of
he
a
also
show.
supposedly had a good match with Kyle Fletcher on the Dynamite the week before.
He did.
Yeah, and I didn't see that.
Um,
I didn't see
no,
that
I
show.
didn't
So
either because this is the problem. It's like, and I've said I want to see Osprey, but again, AEW should. Sorry, AEW's show structure leaves a lot to be desired a lot of times, just like WWE's. I mean, again, thank God they didn't make you wait for Sasha on Wednesday and that she was the first person to come out. That's how they kicked off the show and everything. Um, but again, they also don't do a good job. Did you know that Okada's first match was on fucking Rampage?
It's
Or it
so
might have been
horrible.
Collision.
So horrible.
Yeah, and if that's like, oh, we want to see we get people to watch Collision. Yeah, okay, I get that. Did you even mention on Dynamite after he aligned himself with the Bucks that they're going to have a match on Friday in Collision? I don't really know if they did, but even if they didn't, again, you're not. That's not promoting. Yeah, just
It's the small, simple stuff that they're not doing properly. The basics of wrestling TV 101. That's what they're
yeah,
screwing up on.
and I'm not saying that they need to present like WWE because they sure as hell don't.
no, please
WWE's
don't.
WWE's TV presentation is just as intolerable in a completely different manner, though.
Yeah.
The thing that WWE does better is that when they have these, generally speaking, not always, generally speaking, though, when they have these 20-minute talk segments, something actually comes out of them that makes you want to see what's going to happen next, or makes you want to see the match between the two guys who are in the ring, or advances the storyline in some way. When AEW does that shit, it really doesn't. WWE's problem, of course, is that they make the entrances more important than anything else, especially the shit that you see in the ring. Yeah,
Yep.
the only good thing I guess about it is that it's not like the Attitude Era when Jesus Christ, the episode of Raw that I just watched, it was the last Raw before King of the Ring '99. They squeezed 9 matches onto the show, and I think all but 2 of them were under 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
No, that's just as terrible as anything else.
Jeez, that's crazy.
I wish I could show you his little video that he has for the Mean Street Posse whenever they show up because it's goddamn hysterical. He's basically making fun of the fact that they could probably never get a woman. He plays like what was like the Mean Street Posse music, and he's got his own lyrics on there. I think it goes something like, "Did you ever have sex with the woman I have? Felt so good when she let me do it to her with my penis," or something like that. It's really fucking hysterical.
Oh,
And
the Mean Street Posse.
Oh my
well, and
God.
because the Mean Street Posse, of course, just got an addition because we just saw Joey Abs for the first time. The guy who was
Yes.
actually a trained wrestler, wasn't just some idiot friend of Shane's. But
Yes.
unfortunately, that killed his wrestling career if he ever was going to have one then too, because it's like you were in the Mean Street Posse. Now we're getting rid of the Mean Street Posse. Nobody's ever going to forget that you were in the Mean Street Posse wrestling in that sweater vest all the time.
I know.
So good luck
Oh,
to you.
that's the weather sweater vest was oh so special.
From the
I
mean
don't know. It's
streets of
just yeah.
Greenwich,
It's like
Connecticut.
yeah. So much in wrestling just irritates me so much anymore, and it's like when
That's because
AJ
you
and
want
I
it to be like the 1980s again, Pat. It's not gonna happen,
no,
man. The
that's
1980s are dead and gone.
that's that's really not what it is at all. It's really
Yes,
just
it is. Just admit it. For once in your life, admit it.
no,
Don't do it,
because
Pat. Don't do it.
it's just not. But it's like
We just want good television.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? You
so
know what I don't want. You know what I don't want to see too. I don't want to see a women's tag team match where you have one of the participants in the match who has been the subject, I guess you could say, of an online controversy over her lack of wrestling ability, where it was reported that people were giving it to her at a house show, and then people on the roster were sticking up for her and everything.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And then
Oh, I
when
missed
she
this.
gets into the tag match and she starts doing the reverse worm, and all of a sudden her opponent gets in her face and starts browbeating her about how terrible she is and brings up how her brother died, which is something that they have never once mentioned on the television show in any way, shape, or form.
Makes no
And then
sense.
the she gets so upset that she tries to walk out of the match and everything. Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, Maxine
It,
Dupree. Okay, now when you said reverse worm, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about now.
yeah, Maxine.
yeah, but again, it's like, what? What the fuck are we doing? I don't get it.
That's so randomly bringing up a topic like that, like a personal topic in a match.
Yes,
That's for a promo.
are you trying to make Candice LeRae are you trying to make Candice LeRae be Christian now? Since all Christian can do is talk about dead people's dead fathers, and
Apparently.
haul around an idiot in a dinosaur mask, some, swivel skinny 18-year-old and is trying to be MILF mother. I mean, Jesus Christ. Talk about something else that I liked at first and has now gotten intolerable.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm down with all that either, honestly.
If I never saw Nick Wayne or Nick and especially Nick Wayne's mother again, that would be fine. Ugh.
It's not that I'm really against it altogether, but I just presentation means a lot, and I'm just not sure if
Yeah, and it's
presentation with those two have been great.
and it's also not going anywhere. And where's it going to go when they finally decide that Christian and Edge aren't feuding anymore? So, but what I was trying to say then too, AJ and I were talking about this on Thursday, Friday, whatever fucking night it was. Who cares? The days blend together anymore. Um, we were talking about the possibility. He's saying, he was saying again, well, it's probably going to be another WrestleMania where I'm leaving and I'm not happy. And of course, I
Yeah,
almost
I'm
want
kind of
to
tired
say,
of hearing that narrative.
I would just want to say, look, I know you didn't know what the matches were when you bought the tickets, but you could always just say, fuck it, I'm not going and try to sell the tickets.
Someone will buy.
Exactly, and you'll
You
get
know,
your double your money back.
yeah, but I just, he mentioned the possibility of Cody not winning. And I said to him, you know what? If Cody doesn't win, that might be it for me. I might just say fuck this whole thing and I may never turn on another wrestling show again. So
Cody not winning at WrestleMania with his second opportunity doesn't make sense. Like, okay, I
nope.
get the first
But
one. At the time of the first one, it didn't make sense to me. But they've
no,
been able to
and
carry
it still doesn't to me though. But
it. They've been able to carry the feud, so to say, make him re-earn it. They've been able to keep the crowd on his side as a face. You cannot, and it's not about the fans, okay? I get that. But you cannot do the same thing you just did this last year to that same wrestler and essentially tell him behind the scenes, it's just not your time.
mhm.
It's been Roman Reigns' time. He's had his time. We're done with Roman Reigns. Okay, every WWE fan, I don't care. I guarantee if I asked 100 people, I'm going to say 90 of them are going to say, yeah, I want to see a different champion. 10 might say, I like Roman Reigns as a champion. It's time to move on from Roman Reigns. It's gotten stale. It's not doing anything anymore. He's not that I need him there every day. I don't need him there for every show. Fine, he shows up randomly at, PLEs. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But it's time to dethrone him and give the title to somebody else. It's
Yeah, it's
time.
kind of like, what's the payoff for Roman at this point?
The Rock turns on him, Heyman turns on him. yeah, there's possibilities, but none of them are necessarily all that great, you know. But
And people, I've heard AJ has brought this up, and I've heard some other people say that they're afraid that The Rock's going to turn on Roman and help Cody win. I think if you're going to do, to me, I think that's way too soon. Don't build up this heel Rock shit, and people are buying into it, you know, and then all of a sudden do a swerve and have him help Cody. Kind of doesn't make sense. If you really want to have Roman versus Rock, you need to build that up for SummerSlam, to be honest. Now,
yeah,
does they need the title for that? No, they don't need a title for that. That's a head of a table match. That's not doesn't need to be for a Universal Championship match.
No,
no, and
because
yeah, again,
nobody's
I
gonna
was
care
saying
if
that
The
like a
Rock
Rock,
wins the title. Like,
yeah, and I was saying again that a Rock Roman match just is not gonna be good, you know. But it's like
It'll be
here's the other thing
serviceable.
too.
yeah, I don't know.
There,
Maybe,
the
maybe
guy, the
not.
guy on one guy who writes on Cage
Oh,
Side Seats, he
I
he
must
wrote an
have a
article a couple
signal.
weeks ago. I may have mentioned it before, talking about how Roman should win because Cody as babyface champ will be horrible because all these past babyface championship runs were horrible because they didn't know what to do with them. And like I think they mentioned like when Seth won the title a few years ago as an example, and like when he got into his feud with the Fiend and everything like that. And I just said, so okay, so because past babyface champions in recent times were bad, that's enough reason to say, no, we can pull the trigger on the title and have the face be the champion now. That is such cop out for one thing. And it's
Yeah.
also pretty fucking ironic given this company. Think about the guys who were always the champions in this company. Bruno held the title for years. Pedro Morales held the title for years. Bruno San Martin or Bob Backlund held the title for years. Hulk Hogan held the title for years. You
They
look
were all
at
the
the
baby
first
faces.
you look at the first 30 to 35 years of the companies going back to like 1963 when like they first kind of recognized their first champion with Buddy Rogers. Heel title reigns were relatively brief. Like Superstar Billy Graham had one that lasted like almost a year, but the only other ones that were like they gave Buddy Rogers the titles to say they could had a credible champion, and then of course Bruno beat him for it. Ivan Koloff, Stan Stasiak, Iron Sheik, Andre, those were all transition. Sergeant Slaughter were all transitional champions. Like Savage won the title as a face, then turned heel while he was champion, but then lost it. Hogan was a face. Warrior was a face. Undertaker won the title, had it for a week. Then it was, Hogan won it back and it was declared vacant. Flair wins the title. He holds it, what was it, like 2 months, 3 months between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 92. Loses it to Savage, who loses it back to Flair, who loses it to Bret Hart about a month or so later. Yoko had a long title reign in there of about a year. But again, until they got to like the Attitude Era, and more specifically, not even so much the Attitude Era, until they really got to the tonight, I am the game era, heel champions in WWE, they were heel champions for a couple months at most. And now it seems like maybe it's because Triple H is in charge, because he liked the NWA and he's a fan of Harley Race and Ric Flair and everything, even though he grew up in fucking WWE country.
Yeah.
Um, it's like he thinks that there always needs to be like the heel champion and there needs to be the chase and everything. And I'm like, didn't Cena show that it doesn't have to be that way? I just,
And Cody's in a different level at some of those other baby faces as well. So that's another thing. And I think the
yeah,
roster is better suited to keep storylines going with Cody than it has in the
Well, yeah,
past.
there's definitely a lot better heels for him to be able to work with.
yeah, there are plenty of heels he can work with. I mean, it's like the whole thing then too is, I mean, yeah, does Cody move to SmackDown if he wins the title? Now, if he does, then obviously he's going to have to keep feuding with Roman in some capacity for a little while at least. But AJ Styles is on that show as a heel. You could book him against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller if you wanted to, if you actually want to try to use those guys seriously, because they really haven't been lately. Maybe Logan Paul, depending on what they do with him. You may just have to bite the bullet and turn LA Knight heel. Just there's you can turn Kevin
Yeah.
Owens and Randy Orton heel on that show. There's possibilities. There's I just
Oh
don't want to
yeah.
hear I just don't want to hear, oh, because those babyface champions had bad reigns, then Cody shouldn't get the title now.
No, I get
That's
it. That's it.
that's the same kind of logic as like what I was just saying earlier about, oh, Carolina hasn't won the NCAA tournament in the year or didn't win the ACC tournament in the years where they won the NCAA tournament, so that's why they shouldn't win tonight. Even though there's just because there's a correlation doesn't mean there's causation, and just because it's happened doesn't mean that it's like some kind of a trend or that it's based on anything that will become a trend. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I
I
got
get
you.
you.
just
Got you,
because
brother.
B follows A doesn't mean B happened because of A.
We got you, Pat. It's understood. We don't have to talk about this anymore. We got it. It's okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, that is unacceptable, and I demand you refund me some of the money I have paid you.
He's fining you now. He's gonna start handing out fines. That's what he's gonna
No,
do.
I'm not. This isn't a fine. This is an asshole charge.
That comes when we go to park at WrestleMania.
Asshole,
There's the
asshole
asshole
tax.
charge. There.
It's the asshole tax.
Yeah, asshole tax. What movie did they mention? Oh, Fight Club, I think. Helena Bonham Carter, I think, says that to Edward Norton. Like, when he gives her some money towards the end of the movie, she says, "I'm like, this is an asshole tax" or something like that.
Well, I can think of a couple people that would be fucking broke right now with that asshole tax. So yeah.
Well, let's see. One guy just got hit. What just had to pay? How much money was it for essentially asshole tax? Was it like $90 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what that is, So, but yeah,
All right.
so I'm still looking forward to WrestleMania. I'm curious to see what other
Absolutely.
matches that curious to see what other matches they will add. I do like the sound of most of the matches on the card. The only one, again, like I said, this fucking 16 ladder match is going to be a clusterfuck.
I
And the
know.
problem for that is because since we're going to be there, that's how it's going to be worse because we'll be able to see everything. We'll be able to see the 8 guys who are just laying down outside the ring waiting for their next cue, which
I
you
know.
can't, which they do a good job of generally not showing on television and everything, of course. But the fact that we'll be there live, we can, we'll be able to, unless we have like our view of the ring blocked in some way, but even that, so we'll still be able to see most of it. So it's like that's
No,
just
we'll
going to be
have.
annoying.
Yeah, we won't have any blocked view unless we've got some gigantic people, sitting in front of us that we can't see over their heads. That could happen in my case since I'm the shortest of the group. I could have some tall bastard sitting in front of me, be like, "What the fuck?"
You better bring your booster seat,
Yeah,
brother.
I know.
Well, yeah, I just say this: if somebody were to tap me on the shoulder and say, "I can't see over your head," my response would be, "Ain't nothing I can do about it."
Yeah,
Well,
I can't shrink.
I don't think you'll have to worry because Shane's 6'7", so he's going to be sitting behind us anyway.
And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm not going to start slouching in my seat, just because there's somebody out there who would do that.
That's always the problem that I have when we go to like concerts when we're standing for we're in a standing area. You know, there's always some goon, and I say goon, but he's not. The person's not actually a goon, but I say goon because he's fucking like 6'4", and I'm like, God damn it, can't
Oh,
see the
so
stage. I'm like moving my head to find the spot between the people, like, oh, and then of course they shift, and I'm like, son of a bitch,
I
I
see how
can't
it
see
is.
anything.
I see how it is. People who are 6'4" are goons, huh?
All right, the Jolly Green Giant. What do you want me to call him? But yeah, short people
You,
problems.
you son of a bitch, or I must break you.
But yeah,
Oh
so
shit.
hopefully my son will get to be 5'10", maybe he can get 2 inches on me and be closer to that 6 foot mark.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I hope you've done the right thing as a father and prepared him for the fact that he just may not be tall.
Well, yeah,
Okay, good.
I don't know if there's really a way to prepare him for that at 7 years old. Sorry, 7 years old. But I'll do my best. I'll do my best to prepare him
I
for
think
life's
just
shortness.
being I think just being frank and just saying, son, I'm not very tall. Your grandfather's not very tall. Your uncles are not very tall. There's a good chance you're not going to be very tall.
Well, and that's the funny thing. Like my uncles, I mean, granted, they're not my dad's direct brothers. They are our family, but they're more technically cousins. Most of them are 6 foot.
Technically, cousins.
Technically cousins because I call them my uncles, but they're really technically my cousins.
But they're cousins.
So,
Identical
so we do
cousins.
have tall people in our family, just not directly related to us. So,
Uh-huh.
all
Yeah.
extended family. So, yeah, it's like
Get it, I
son of
get
a
it.
bitch. But it's interesting because though my uncles are taller, their kids are all shorter, except for one. My one cousin's is 6'2". He outgrew his dad, so he's the one. My one cousin that actually outgrew his dad. All the rest of them ended up being shorter than their parents, which is kind of odd. So
Some of the short genes, I guess.
yeah, they
Skipped a
must have all
couple
got their moms.
generations.
Got all the mom
Yeah.
genes.
Skipped several other generations, decided to show back up to that one.
Yeah.
You know. All right then. It's
Bronson Reed. There's a guy that they really don't need to have on wrestling.
Hmm?
WWE, you can fire Bronson Reed. It's okay. Sorry,
There's
that's my
plenty of
personal
people.
opinion.
There's plenty of people I would fire before Bronson Reed.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's the worst, but if he was gone, I wouldn't miss him.
valid point. Valid point. All right, fellas. It's
I mean,
almost
yeah,
10 after midnight.
I made it.
We did, and
Thank
we
you.
have legitimately really 2 weeks. 1, 2, oh no, 3.
That's three.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks from right now, we shall hopefully be in the car on the way back homeward.
From
And we'll be sitting in a long
WrestleMania
line of traffic to get the hell out of there.
night
Well,
one.
yes, that's the issue, of course.
Yes, and we still plan on going live from WrestleMania, checking in occasionally from WrestleMania.
Yep. We're gonna post stuff on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. Throw things around, come in live, do some stuff. Yeah. Gonna have a good old time.
Yeah, we're gonna post we're gonna post a live video. We're making it look like I've killed one of these two guys and freaking out and have other people looking around going, "What's wrong with him? And why is that guy lying in a pool of fake blood?"
I think we should create signs. Should we be the guys that actually have like really good signs?
Oh, we should try to figure something, think of some items to create, to put on a poster board for these signs. Gonna have to think about that one.
I mean, I
We could do
think
like
of a good
Rock
sign.
Fierce's age.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I could think of a good one, but it probably wouldn't really fit on a sign. It would say something like board members aren't bosses. Well, okay, maybe that would fit. Yeah.
I could put on there Rock loves Trend. Only certain people will understand that one. Or Rock loves TRT or something like that.
Maybe they say something like Rock, you ain't Superman.
Yeah.
It's funny to me. He's more jacked than Roman is, and he's
Rock killed the DC universe.
Almost twice Roman's age.
I know.
No, not almost
ripped.
twice. I mean, shit. Hold on. Dwayne is
He's in his 50s.
Yeah.
Dwayne is going to turn 52 in May. Roman is going to turn 39 this year.
Oh, okay. I thought Roman was a little bit younger than that. Okay, so he's not quite twice his age.
No, that's what is that? Is a
That'd
13-year
almost be 80.
difference?
He'd have to
Yeah,
be almost 80, so yeah.
yeah,
Quite a few years
They're
off. I was way off on that whole math thing.
they're a
yeah,
decade
Mathing wasn't
apart.
mathing.
Put
yeah,
it that way.
yeah,
Use
yeah.
decades. That sounds long.
And of course they're not really cousins, so
This is true. They are not
Yeah,
really
that whole
cousins.
thing is a little bit off, but whatever. Whatever. It is what it is.
They got Samoan blood. They got that Samoan bloodline, though.
Yeah, yeah.
everybody from Samoa is related to everybody else.
So, all right. Yes, another good show. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. If you caught this on are gonna catch us on Facebook and come see it afterwards, thank you for that too. We once again always appreciate you tuning in. And are we gonna be here next week? I feel like we'll be here next week. Joe, you don't have
We
EA
sh-
XP
we
League.
we should be here next week.
All right, then we will